Hello. Let freedom ring. Let the white dove sing. Let the whole world know that today is the day of reckoning. No can sing. We gotta keep it down again today. We're letting Paul Zigo's voice heal itself while still using it. You're working on the 4th? Boo. 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 I'm smoking some weed for the 4th. I'm gonna get danked out for the 4th, you know what I mean? I thought you said yesterday you were taking a break from streaming. Did I? Said I was calming it down. You know what I mean? That was the whole point of the stream yesterday. Was that it can't be too loud. Is Dinoaur prepared for the coming apocalypse? Is he? He's definitely on alert for that shit. He's definitely on alert. I don't know if he'll be ready when it comes, but he'll be the first one to see it. Which vaccine did you get? I got the Pfizer. Your first stream yesterday, I thought you mentioned something about taking a few days off. I took a few days off before that stream yesterday. Like I didn't stream for 3 days. Tripped on shrooms for the first time recently. It was a great experience. Good for you, buddy. Look like I just woke up. You think? You think so? Yeah, pretty true. That's pretty true. Ooh, God damn it. Did I drop it in like that one spot where you can't get it unless you get out of the chair? No, we're fine. You got it. You didn't know, silly? I mean, you can make an inference, right? You can make an inference. It's early. My hair looks nice. That's because I put it up at night. I put my hair up. And then I brush it in the morning. Why are we talking about vaccines, yo? What is this? Why are we talking about where Moderna vaccines are made, yo? Sorry. You guys are just going to have to listen to me fucking move phlegm around in my sinuses today. That's just the way it's going to be. Fox family is doing good. Yeah, other night I was out here doing a stream, and I heard something right over here next to me, and I looked, and it was a big old salamander. Just a big, beautiful salamander, black and orange, up here on the deck hunting. So yeah, pretty cool. Salamanders are the best, bro. D does not like fireworks. Last night, we had to put on Dunkirk so that D would believe that the explosions that were happening outside were coming from the TV because he knows not to be afraid of the TV. So we put on Dunkirk last night, and he was finally able to settle down. So that's what we're going to do again tonight. Maybe not Dunkirk, but we're going to find a war movie and we'll play it for D. Yeah, if he knows it's coming through the speakers, he's not afraid of it. So he was finally able to rest last night. He gets very, like, you can tell when a dog is stressed or whatever when they're hassling, they're panting, but they're not hot. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of endless war movies, right? Dunkirk happened to be pretty good because it had lots of splodies and lots of loud noises and guns and cracks and booms and he, like, Dinoaur knows for sure that those things come from out of the TV. He can tell where they're coming out of the TV, and that doesn't scare him at all. He sleeps right through that shit. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Maybe I'm just a fucking boomer, but I feel like the 4th of July is, we talked about this last night too, so I don't want to get into it too much, but I feel like the 4th of July is just like kind of lost a lot of its fun, and it's now become kind of a fucking risky, shitty holiday where people fire guns off and try and burn down their houses and shit. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I never really did feel patriotic on the 4th of July. I mean, the whole patriotism message was kind of lost behind the beer and fireworks and barbecue, So for me, like, 4th of July was never like a soaring patriotic kind of feeling. It's just it's just a day, bro. And it just happens to be a day where people are fucking just going ape shit with their fucking stupid ass fireworks, shooting guns off. Just like, damn. All right, this train is screaming, dude. It's pretty rare that I hear a train come this fast. Dude, that train is on fire, bro. Yeah, this conductor flying. We got a 4-engine pull. He's got it opened all the way up, bro. It's just... long as fuck, too. This whole train, by the way, is loaded with truck trailers. That whole train, everything that you just heard was truck trailers. So, like the shit that's pulled behind semis up on a flatbed. One after the other. Truck trailers. Some of them stacked double. Shoom, 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 shoom. Yep. If heading that way, they're heading probably to the Bay Area. I would guess San Francisco, Oakland. Maybe Sacramento. But I would guess San Francisco. there's a chance Amazon co-ops are railroads in order to deliver packages faster. No. But maybe I'm wrong. Sparklers can be fine as long as you don't set, whatever, bro. There's tons of fireworks you can set off that aren't gonna set your whole fucking house on fire. They're just not all that cool. They're just not all that fun. I'm not awake enough to talk about Amazon co-opting the railroads. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Give me 15 or 20 minutes. Let me go brew some coffee here in a minute, and we'll see what I can do after that. Oh yeah, the Highdeology game. Yeah, that's what it's called, Highdeology. I remember that. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's a flash game on Newgrounds. It's pretty fun. How's the year doing? Still fucked. Fireworks are legal in California. Some of them. There's a law in California mandating what are called quote unquote safe and sane fireworks. It's basically you can't have anything that launches. Anything that launches up into the air and explodes is illegal. Pretty much anything that explodes is illegal. You can't have an M80. You can't have black cats here. You can't have Roman candles. You can't have the fucking mortar fire shells. You can't have that shit here. Well, I mean, clearly you can, but it's illegal. But there are fireworks stands all over, everywhere in town. Selling fireworks that you just sit on the ground and they shoot sparks up out of them or whatever the fuck. Can't have anything that shoots. Bottle rockets are illegal. Anything that leaves the ground, you can't have. I guess anything that leaves the ground under its own power. Well, I would look good on a motorcycle. No. I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm way too risk adverse to ride around on a fucking motorcycle. Can't hang with that shit. No, I would never have a motorcycle. Nope. Don't want a trike, don't want a motorcycle, don't want any kind of vehicle that I'm not encased in, that doesn't have a fucking airbag in it. I mean, you guys realize how deadly the fucking roads are, right? Like, I'm not trying to be like a paranoiac here, but you guys realize how many people fucking croak on the road, right? Nope. If we lived in a world where like people were conscientious drivers and shit, maybe. Trikes are dangerous as fuck. Any type of ride-on machine is dangerous as fuck. Trikes, I mean, anything can flip over, but if a trike flips over, your ass is grass because there's no roll cage, there's nothing protecting you. You just die. You end up like a smear on the fucking pavement. I've seen that shit, bro. Not like close up as an EMT or something, but them fucking blood smears on the pavement where somebody laid down their fucking bike and left about half their skin on the road and shit. No. Well, that's the thing is like, and I had a next door neighbor. I've told this story before. A lady who was getting towards retirement age. She's a divorcee. Started dating a dude that was into those, not like ape hanger, like Harley Davidson type bikes, but like I think they're called touring bikes. The ones that are meant for like long distances. They're big and they've got like the packs on the back of them. You guys have seen them. I don't know exactly what they're called. But he was into those types of bikes, like those long, not really meant for speed, but just for riding comfort, easy riding, kind of big. Yeah, like a Goldwing type of bike with the big packs on it. Yeah, a touring bike, right? He was into that. She's dating this man, right? Well, they fall in love or whatever, and he gets her into it and gets her one. And so now they're riding their bikes together. All right. Well, they're up in the mountains riding their bikes, and they're right next to each other, and something happens, and he loses his bike out from under him, or she does, one way or the other, and they have a huge bike accident. She lost one of her eyes and one of her legs. They make stupidly powerful motorcycles. Some of them have so much ass you need to use a drive shaft to put power to the back. Well, that's another thing, bro. I told you guys recently that I had a friend whose son passed away. He was driving I don't really understand, but his parents explained it to me. He was in his 20s, and he had gotten a 400 or a 600, I believe, is the starter type. He'd gotten one of the lower power still, because like when you get like street bikes, like fast bikes, you're not supposed to jump on a fucking like 1,000 horsepower bike or some shit right away. Yeah. So you graduate up. This is a fucked up story, bro. It's unbelievable to me even now. Number one, because I saw this kid grow up, and he's gone now. And number two, just how it happened, bro. It's unbelievable. So, kid had a 400, started at a 400cc bike, or whatever it was. Maybe it was a 600. I can't remember what his parents said. But whatever the next step, like he rode that for a year and was fine. The low end bike. He rode it for, not low end, but just, not as fast, right? He rode it for a year and went to trade it in. He traded in the bike, got the one step up. So I think he had like, yeah. No, there's more steps than that, bro. There's more steps than that, Nick, because I remember his dad fucking explaining this shit to me. He's talking about how I think he had a 400cc bike, and then he was going up to a 600. And then from the 600, you're supposed to go up to 800, and from 800, you're supposed to go up to 1,000. That's the way it's supposed to work. Right? That's how I remember it. Kid was on a 400, went in and traded the 400 in for a 600, and died that day. Traded in his 400, rode away from the dealership on his 600, and never came home. So no, I won't be on any fucking motorcycles, yo. Kid was 22. It'd be a 400 to 650, yeah. That sounds about right, or whatever the fuck. Dead that day. Fucked up. I mean, most people that ride motorcycles are very, very careful about it and don't want their children into it without knowing what they're doing. Like, that's the thing, is people think that motorcycle riders are these wild fucking people. I mean, they kind of are, but they are incredibly careful people. Usually. Come on, dude. I'll let you in. I'll let you in, buddy. I gotta start some coffee. forgot I was watching this. How's that happen, bro? Yeah, dude. I mean, I've ridden dirt bikes before that are 150 cc's, and those things will get out from under you. Like, I just don't, whatever. Let's not talk about motorcycles anymore, yeah? It's a depressing subject, and it seems to be spinning its fucking wheels, yeah? No pun intended. How can you mend a broken heart? Time heals all wounds, my friend. How is your ear? It's fucked. It's fucked. Yeah, I have word on it, but I'm not going to tell you what the word is on it. The timing of our travel plans and shit is just not something I share. You guys will know they're in town if we decide to do a Highdeology together or something out here. Move on. Got 300 seconds, bro. Clean out your ear hole and listen. If my fucking half-assed, half-deaf ass can hear what I'm saying, so can you. I did not see Trump's rally yesterday. You guys, and I know it makes it hard for like topical kind of news-based stuff, but I've told you guys a million times, I don't watch the fucking news. Until Beauregard, Donnie Darko's the tightest track yet. Dude, that track is all Marshall. Beauregard just fucking dropped a verse on it. You know what I mean? That was just a Marshall's baby there. Ever had fans turn up at your house? Yeah. Happened the other day, dude. I've got a neighbor that's a fan. Happened the other day, bro. Brought me a bunch of weed. You find it ironic that Biden said the U.S. would be done with the pandemic by today. Clearly that was a lie. I mean, I don't know, bro. Can we not? I understand that like politics is all anybody wants to hear me talk about on these sometimes, but can we not today? I mean, I don't know. We can if that's what you guys really want to talk about. I'm not trying to fucking steer the conversation, but man, I'm bored by these. What do you think about Biden lying? What do you think about Biden being a piece of shit? What do you think about AOC being a do nothing? It's like, what do you think I think? You know, unless you're just brand new, just fucking discovered me, you know exactly what I think about that shit. I'm just sick of fucking repeating it. Give me a day or two off from it. You know what I mean? As a topic, and then I'll fucking repeat it for you guys again. What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about that. I don't know. You know, I'm in the same boat as you guys are today. I felt I felt like the impulse to do one of these, but I didn't really come here with a pocket full of topics. Paul, do you plan on trying to buy a property in Uruguay with a good amount of land? It would be so cool to have a private compound to build a house on. Well, that's the idea, is that in Uruguay, I could get a piece of land that here in America in most places would be out of my reach, right? But in Uruguay, I could, get a decent chunk of land. So yeah, I don't know, bro. It's not your fault. Yeah, we could talk about it if you want. What do you think about the Jimmy Dore Young Turks drama? Here we go, bro. Covered that shit again too. I covered that shit pretty in depth a couple shows ago. Um, oh man, I don't know what's going on with me today, dude. You guys are trying. You guys are trying. You're doing your best. I think I just might be unpleasable today. These topics, bro. Paul's lost his mojo. Well, maybe. I won't be grilling today, no. Let's not talk about how dark energy is anything, bro. I am vexed. I'm sorely vexed today. I'm angsty about something. I'm angsty about this whole. I'm just angsty. I'm just angsty, bro. This whole 4th of July shit's got me angsty. Being sick has me angsty. Just watching the fucking world unravel has me angsty. Now, if there's anything that I want to talk about, it's that. But that's what I talk about every fucking day. Just the world collapsing. You know what I mean? And it's so hard. It's so hard sometimes to project that perspective onto younger people. Because, you know, that whole learned experience gap doesn't make me smarter. It just makes me older. I have something to compare the current state to. You know what I mean? The current state of affairs to. That you don't. You know, I was raised at a time right at the end of the working class where people worked factory jobs and could afford good houses and cars and vacations and medical care for their children. And, you know, it was no joke. My parents were not rich people. They were not college graduates. My mom's a high school dropout. My mom finished 2 years of high school. She finished her sophomore year of high school and dropped out. And together with my dad, who has no college to speak of, they were able to make enough money to, you know, support a fucking family, and now they can't. And that's stuck in my mind because I feel like all of you are robbed, and I don't know how to tell it to you in different ways. I don't know how to impress upon you what you've been robbed of because you can't know it. You can't know it. You can hear me talk about it, but to actually conceptualize how different it was for a working person in this country when I was a child compared to now, you can't know what was taken from you. You just can't. Or I'm not eloquent enough to explain it to you. But it drives me fucking insane. The unfairness and the cruelty of it drives me fucking insane. And I just wish every goddamn fucking second of every goddamn day that the working people in this country will rise up and tear this motherfucker down. No, I'm not talking about the middle class, bro. Angry Gamer Show. The middle class is not what I'm talking about. There used to be a class that sat right on top of the middle class called the working class. These were people with union jobs that made more than middle class people. Right now, being middle class or what's left of middle class is the best shit you could possibly fucking hope for as a human being. And what counts for middle class now isn't middle class back then. I never had a career. You know, I wasn't born on the internet, right? I worked my whole life. 16 years old, worked at a fucking Wendy's. then got a job at a Blockbuster, then got a job at a fucking call center working for MCI WorldCom, then got a job at a Starbucks, and then got a job at a school district, all doing different shit. I never had a career. Never wanted one. Keep you doped with religion and sex and TV. And you think you're so clever and classless and free. But you're all fucking peasants as far as I see. Based on what I understand, talking to family who work in economics, the American workers struggle due to globalization and competing with workers in other countries who are paid less. Well, that's because the American worker allows so-called American corporations to ship their fucking jobs overseas. You see, that's the American worker that does that. The American worker allows that. We're the release valve on that shit. You want to move your shit over, we shut your company down. That's overseas scab labor. It's taking food off the plate of the American worker. That's exactly right. It's the company that did that. The company employs overseas scab labor. We get more affordable stuff, though. Well, we need more affordable stuff, don't we? Because they don't pay us shit anymore, do they? See how that works out? You get cheap shit that breaks. And you get lowered wages because now you've got cheap shit that breaks. So you don't need as much money. Hey, now you're starting to see the vicious cycle. We get more advanced tech. That's a fucking lie. Do you understand why every person who takes Econ 101, that minimum wage will keep wages low? So there should be no minimum wage because the market will decide the value of labor. Well, I don't necessarily agree that the market should decide the value of labor. I think that the laborer decides the value of labor. And it's up to companies to decide whether they want to use that labor or fold. You don't want to pay your coal workers, you don't want to pay your miners enough money to fucking compensate for their dangerous ass fucking job. You can close up shop, motherfucker. Shut it down, sell it off, and we'll fight for the concession for whoever buys what's left of your company. Up to you. See, there's this sense of power that I wish that I could give to all of you that comes from the labor space. And it's not the type of thing that you're used to feeling. It isn't. It's not going on Twitter and getting retweets. It's not sitting in front of an audience like this and saying things that most of my audience agree with. There's a genuine sense of power. A unionized worker is a fucking Superman. It's true. And I don't know how else to put it but that to you. There's an empowerment when you realize that this big giant company, see, things have been inverted. We look up to these giant companies and we're in awe of them. We should be in awe of the worker. Those companies should be in awe of us. There's a genuine power to it. And it's real power. You're not fucking theorizing. You're not fucking talking a good game. You're not preparing a powerful sounding statement. You speak with genuine power when you're a union worker. You can move the planet. And that's no joke. Laborers acting together in defense of their fucking labor move the world. That's not a joke. And to be a part of that, that's genuine power. That's not impotent power. That's not illusory power like you get with the fucking social media age. It's real. Your voice is amplified by your union. And that union voice shakes the foundations of the corporate world, shakes the foundations of the government entity. Power. The power to tell a fucking government official, a law officer to go fuck themselves. We will not be moved till we get our concession. You arrest us, we're out on bail tomorrow, and we're back. We will not be moved. You try doing that in any other fucking space. Labor's different. A working man and a working woman standing shoulder to shoulder with their brothers and sisters in the union. That's power, bro. The last vestige of power that we have. And it's real. Yep. Not a machine gets flicked on, not a wheel turns, not a truck drives without us. Think about that. Not a package gets delivered or processed or received. Not a piece of fucking mail gets put in your mailbox. Not a fucking grocery store open for you to get food. Not a fucking gym open for you to go work out. Nothing. People don't realize we have our hands on the reins of all of that shit. And all we got to do is yank. Whole thing comes to a stop. We've forgotten it. And that's what I think about every fucking day, is how I wish that I could transfer that knowledge to you in a way that you would really take it to heart. Not just you, but everybody that would listen to me. Every working person. I want to empower them. I want them to feel like they're not slaves to their job. I want them to feel like that they have the power. I want them to know, not feel like, to know the power that they hold. I want them to know how good it feels to exercise that power. To stand shoulder to shoulder on a fucking strike line. You can't explain it. But that's not impotency like lesser of two evils voting is. That's not crossing our fingers and hoping that the AOCs and the Ilhan Omars don't fucking sell themselves down the river and then being all dismayed when they do. That's impotence. That's learned helplessness. Continued, constant participation in a system that just fucks you off. You will do it again. Fuck you. Do it again. You got no power. You got no power. A labor space, your ass is fucking God. You are judge, jury, and executioner for that fucking company. They step on your neck, you stomp on their neck. They send the thugs, you bring the thugs. Power. The whole world watching you. On camera, live on TV. Come stomp us on our wives. We will not be moved. Power. Not talk. Not Twitter bullshit. Not wishful thinking. Not flowery rhetoric. Power. Shoulder to shoulder with people that are like-minded. Power. real, genuine power to change shit. And I don't know how to paint that different. I don't know how to tell you, I don't know how to explain to you how different that is from having a Twitter take or posting in the comment section of a political video on YouTube or following some political commentator on YouTube and watching half the shit that he puts out. Or I don't know how to tell you how it's different. It's fundamentally different in every way. One of those things is weak catharsis, and one of those things is the exercising of actual power. No, I don't believe that there should be a minimum wage. Period. There should the cost of labor should be tied to productivity and tied to inflation. Period. That's it. 100%. Which means that if, you know, my position goes into play, people are making about $15 to $20 an hour today, working towards 25. And guess what happens? Not a single company folds. Not a single business of worth goes out of business. And the ones that do are replaced by people who know how to design a business around paying for labor. They know how to design a business around a profit margin that includes the value of labor. That's all there is to it, dude. All this like, oh, you can close down all these businesses. Dude, if there's a business set up that's predicated on juicing somebody by paying them $7 an hour, fuck that business. I don't care if it's mom and pop. I give a fuck about a small business owner. You know what I care about? A worker. Fuck your small business. You design your small business's profit margin around slave labor wages. Closed. Closed for business, bitch. I don't give a fuck about your business. See, I'm not a company person, and that includes private business. I'm for workers. You don't understand, man. Labor is socialism done in practice, taken out of the theory space, taken out of the YouTube space, taken out of the Twitter red rose space, and put on the ground. We don't need a socialist system for it to happen. We need to create a socialist system through labor. So you understand, if you read theory, right? Karl Marx and Engels created the first international workers' union. It was called the International. One of the problems with it was that it was an international men's workers' union, but still based as fuck for the time. And right after the Civil War, so we're talking like 1863, 1864, the International was giving orders to unions all over the world. Unions all over the world were receiving communiques from Engels and Marx telling them how to marshal their forces, how to organize their union. So that was socialism actually implemented at the ground level. So that's how you get it. People think, oh, well, we have to get a socialist system in place first and then labor unions. No, backwards. Labor unions, then a socialist system. Socialism, then socialist. You get socialism by doing socialist shit. So America was based as fuck. America said Men's Workers International, fuck that, and allowed women to join. Allowed female laborers to stand and be counted amongst workers. Oh yeah, that's power. Power before the sexual revolution. Nice fatty boom batty bowl. That's a spicy meatball. First unions in America were really racist and only let white people. No black workers were allowed in the union. Yeah, America used to be really fucking racist, bro. It still is. What's your point? So because workers' unions in the fucking 1800s were racist, we shouldn't do unions? Is that your contention? I guess because most people in the 1800s were racist, we probably just shouldn't do life, right? Doesn't that follow? We should all just... Because back in the 1800s, way more people were racist. Black people were excluded from way more shit, so let's all just... All right, let's never do anything. Dumb fucking argument. Yeah, go shower. You stink. I don't know why you felt the need to tell everybody that shit. Go shower, your ass fucking smells. Means of production are still run by racists and classes, of course. Always will be. Your argument is weak, and so are you. If I'm weak, bitch, then why can't you talk and why can't I? If I'm so weak, why is your punk bitch ass silent now and I'm still speaking? Who's weak, motherfucker? Snap you like a twig, bitch. Fuck out of my play. Fuck out of my stream. worst organization in business to integrate in the U.S. were labor unions and closed union shops. Yep. True, true, true. When are you going to watch the rest of the Space 9 review? I was looking forward to it. You stopped after season 1. I don't know, bro. Thanks for the $50. But I don't know. I don't know if we ever will. The truth of the matter is that we stopped doing those videos because nobody was watching them. If you look at those videos versus the views that the average Cinema for Cynics video got, it was a waste of time for us to do those videos. It's clear what types of videos do well on that channel. And long form, unscripted reviews where a bunch of us sit around and discuss something is not it. So, sorry. As soon as you're born, they make you feel small by giving you no time instead of it all. Just quit my job 2 days ago after working a place for a month. Wasn't getting paid enough for the hours I was working, and I wasn't alone. 5 people quit the week before. Even worse, one of the owners asked the cook to give back some of the money from his paycheck. He'd realized he overpaid him. I quit right after I heard that. Yep. You're not alone. I mean, this is like us, like young people quitting these jobs that functionally don't make them enough money to support themselves, so they may as well not waste their time doing them, is the start of a nascent labor movement. I'll say it again. This is a start of a nascent new labor movement in this country. People are starting to realize that their time is worth money. When did bosses get so greedy? When people started allowing them to be. They're just doing what comes natural to them. Look, dude, you have to understand the company mindset. It is in the company's nature to pinch every goddamn fucking penny. If they can save money by fucking giving you 1-ply toilet paper in the toilets instead of 2-ply, they're gonna do it. Even if 2-ply is more comfortable for the assholes of their workers, they don't give a shit. If you want 2-ply, you gotta fight for it. Now, 2-ply is nothing that anybody ever went to a contract for, but you get my drift. These motherfuckers will squeeze every drop of blood out of every goddamn motherfucking penny. Everything is just amortized down to the last little fucking detail. So it's a machine mind. And you're not a machine. You're a human being. You got blood in your veins, and your body is soft and vulnerable, and you have to stand up for its protection. You got to fight against the machine mind that wants to treat you like a decimal point. People are starting to see that. People at the lower end of this, and fucking thank goodness, young people starting to see it. Starting to realize that they're being duped. That it's not just a shitty job that you got to go to get enough money to pay your bills. Now you don't get enough money to pay your bills. Why are you going? That's the first step in realizing that your labor has value. It's the first step in the realization that your labor not only has value, it's the most valuable thing you have. It's your time. You can buy a yacht, you can buy a Lamborghini, somebody could steal that yacht, that fucking Lamborghini could blow up on you. The only thing that's fucking guaranteed you is time, and it's finite. And they want to buy it from you at slave wages? Really? Why? Why would you do that? It's the beginnings of realizing that you have power in the labor space again. It's just not organized. Right now, it's just frustration. People quitting their jobs here, there. These memes are great for spreading the word, but at the end of the day, nothing's changing because of this, because it's not organized. That's the next step. It's for people to realize, like, wow, if we want to change this and actually get jobs that pay us what we feel like we're worth, we got to get together and demand it. And that's a union. Yep. They want to buy your life, your time on this planet for $7, $8, $9 an hour. The federal minimum wage is $7.52 an hour. That's what your life is worth. That's what an hour of your life is worth to the company. And it's not even worth that. In right-to-work states where they got tip discrepancy and shit, they'll pay you fucking nothing. Your life is worth shit. There's that anecdote that I'll bring up from that Harlan County documentary that I tried to get you guys all to go watch. Harlan County, USA, where this old broken down man with fucking black lung sits on his porch and tells a story about how back in the 30s when he was a coal miner, his boss told him one time as he was leading a team of mules down into the mine, you better protect those mules. Don't you let those mules die. And he just kind of like sort of jokingly said, well, boss man, what about me? What if I die? And he said, I can hire another man. I had to buy those mules. That's how the company thinks of you. You're not a person. Your family are not people. You are a unit of labor to them. And when your body's used up, you're discarded. And there's a bunch of hungry people willing to step right into your shoes. And if you think that's a fair exchange for the amount of opulence and fucking wealth that they live in, well, I don't know what to fucking tell you, bro. You got your mind on wrong. Do you think workers need to use violence to fight against labor exploitation and slavery? Here's how it happens, bro. Yes, but here's how it happens. Violence is done to you first. So you employ nonviolent civil disobedience. Sit-ins and laydowns is what they're called. This is about laying your bodies in the road so that scabs would literally have to fucking drive over you to go to work and murder all of you. Of course they don't. So what happens is the cops or hired gun thugs come and drag people away. And the idea at the beginning of this is that you are passive. You don't fight the cops. You don't give them any fucking reason to brutalize you or do anything to you. It doesn't mean they won't. That's stage one. Sit-ins, lie-downs, stage one. They start bringing guns and shooting at you. Well, and they do, you see. That's the whole point. It's you watch Harlan County, USA, you get the fucking, that's a case study. These people didn't even bring guns and bats to the strike line. They brought picket signs and put their bodies in front of scabs to prevent them from getting into the fucking work. Well, then the company hired gun thugs. And slowly but surely, they started flashing their guns at them. They didn't escalate at that point, but as soon as they started letting off rounds to scare people, then everybody on the picket line had a gun. That dude showed up next time, wanted to flash his fucking piece. There's fucking 6 or 8 union men behind a car with their revolvers trained on him. Now what? Your move, Huckleberry. See, that's how it works. You don't go out in a union to do violence, but if they're going to do violence to you, you meet violence with violence. That's the only way to do it. You can't defend yourself against a fucking gun without a gun. So if it comes to that, the company pushes it to that, the cops push it to that, the government pushes it to that, the working man arms himself on the fucking line. And they come in there and they want to fucking roughhouse you and bust your head open and, you know, fucking break your strike. You break them. Make them do it to you in front of all the fucking cameras. The power of that. Unreal. It requires courage, though. People die on that line. And they're going to die on that line again if this happens. That's just the way it is. See, the difference is I'm not glib about losing those lives because the people that lost their lives in the previous labor movements knew it. They were willing to lay it down. Willing. Violence is always the last resort, but it's a resort, isn't it? If they're going to do it to you, what can you do? Get shot? Let them shoot you all so that the scabs have free access to the factory every goddamn day? They'll do it. They show up and start shooting above your heads and shit at first. Pretty soon they're shooting at you. Pulling up at your home when you're asleep and firing shotguns into your house. This shit has happened. This is not theory. So when it gets to that point, what choice do you have? You either walk away from your fucking contract and go back to being a slave because you're intimidated by the fucking yokels that showed up with guns and bats, or you bring some yourself next time and see if they're willing to go. You want to turn this into the OK Corral? You're a shot. Go for it, buddy. That little pistol you've been flashing at us as you drive by here doesn't feel so fucking safe now, does it? You got 8, 10 fucking union guns trained on you now. Now what? Yep. Excuse me. I saw that video of the cop playing the Taylor Swift song so that the person filming wouldn't be able to put their video on YouTube. I mean, it just goes to show you the copyright system as it's enforced on YouTube is so fucking pernicious. Why wouldn't somebody use it that way? Will they, though? Today, police has enough messages of crowd control at this point, but as soon as unions arm themselves, there's an element of human error bound to escalate. That's why the union doesn't do it until it comes down to that. You see, here's the thing. You need to understand that the company realizes that sending in the mob, sending in a fucking riot team to gas a bunch of workers standing for their contract, that's like a gift to the union. That goes national immediately. And what it looks like is the Gestapo showed up and stomped a bunch of American workers. So at that point, your strike line gets bigger, your strike line gets stronger. They realize this. It's a PR campaign. So what companies will do, instead of employing the cops as thugs, and they still will have the cops as thugs, don't worry about that. But what the company will do is they'll just hire fucking private people. They're called gun thugs, colloquially. And the gun thugs will show up and not even necessarily whip the gun out, just like pull their shirt up and show you that they got a gun and just be like, you gonna clear this road? You gonna clear this road? That's what they do. It's intimidation. Because that looks like it's not the company doing it. They've got plausible deniability. Oh, that's just a working person trying to get to make a wage. And yeah, they shouldn't have a gun, man, but what can we do? We're just the company. We can't disarm everybody. When it escalates, union person has no choice. Well, I guess you do have a choice. Be kowtowed by somebody flashing a pistol at you, or just bring one yourself and flash it back at them. Gun thug shows up next time and goes like, oh yeah? Yeah, I don't think we are clearing the road. So what now? Turn the fuck around, bitch. This is the way it works, bro. You gotta understand this. It's all there for you to watch. They can even hire moles who sit among you and create a hassle. Oh, yeah. And it's your job to fucking kick those people. See, that's the thing. An organized fucking union movement, you're going to know somebody that doesn't belong in that movement immediately. Who the fuck are you? Never heard of you. What's your position in the mine? How long you been a coal miner? What other coal mines have you worked in? The fuck out of here. Pinkertons are not only still a real thing. Hold on. I can't yell over this train. All right, you guys can probably hear me fine now. Pinkertons are not only still a real thing, they're on the comeback. Private military corporations, mercenary armies are a real thing. So the gun thugs have upgraded and been legitimized. The government openly uses them now. Hires private military corporations to carry out American military actions so that we can have the veneer of not having soldiers do it. So you need to understand the tactics. It's a PR campaign. The campaign is you get enough fucking media attention on what happens that if they massacre you, they lose. Because public opinion fucking turns against them so hard that their company is shut down. Or they're forced to make the concession. It's a PR campaign. There's a woman in that Harlan County, USA documentary. I wish she was alive now because I would love to interview her. But I looked into it and she's passed away. She's amazing. If you've seen the documentary, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Stocky, heavy-set woman who is not fucking fazed by shit. Not fazed by shit. And knows how to fucking rally those people. Gets up in front of the men's union and gives speeches that are better than their president gives. Woman was a true labor warrior. She was fucking amazing, man. People like her are sorely needed. People that are brash and cocky and fucking self-sure and 100% committed. She's such a joy to watch. There's at one point later in the movie where the gun thugs have started showing up and flashing guns, and she goes like, yeah, let me flash one for you. And she reaches down in her fucking big old bra and pulls out a .32. Revolver status. She's like, there you go. It's right there. Sticks it back in her bra. I'm like, man, we need this bitch now. Holy fuck. We need her now, man. Or people like her. That type of voice is such a commonality in the union. How do you keep other people from breaking rank when the goons show up? Solidarity. You call a meeting and you talk to those people and you tell them what's on the line. That's where fiery rhetoric comes in. That's where people like me step in. Because you got to get people mad and not scared. Somebody shows up and fires a machine gun over the heads of your strike line. The natural human inclination is to be afraid of that. And of course, everybody on that strike line when that's happening is afraid. But you know what that fear is useful for? Fear transfers real easy into anger. The right type of rhetoric, those motherfuckers are going to be doubling down. And that's exactly what happened in Harlan County. People got scared, strike lines started to thin out, and that woman came up and said, look, we need you out there. Your women need you. If you ain't, we're out there supporting you on the strike line when you can't be on it. And if you ain't going to show up and support us and protect us when they're shooting machine guns at you, then we're done. You understand? And all those men out in the audience, she's standing in front of the men's UCMW fucking meeting. And they were fucking unmanned by her comments. Because she was right. You got all your wives and your women and your children out there standing on a strike line and they're getting shot at. And if you're not going to come back us on the strike line, you can't protect us from bed. So we need you or we're done. And you can fucking find somebody else to stand there and get shot at for you. The next day, after she gave that speech, there were 20 men on the strike line, each one of them armed. They set up a fucking car barrier, and those dudes fucking set up behind it with their revolvers, and they were ready to shoot. In a functioning union, there is, Nick. In a functioning union, there is, indoctrination into how the union works and what your rights are within the union. It's part and parcel of the union. When a new member joins the union, they're usually mandated to come to their first meeting. And after or before their first meeting, they will meet with a union president or a delegate and be prepped on what their rights are and what they can and can't do and all that shit. Is bringing a gun to the strike line just to threaten the gun thugs, or do we use them? We use them if they use them. Like I said, this is a PR campaign. Gun thug shows up, start flashing his gun. You've got your guns there. You keep your powder dry. They take a pop shot at somebody, you open. You respond to violence, you don't cause it. So you have your guns, gun thug shows up, and if he wants to wave it around or fire it over your head, then you fire a few shots over his head and see if he feels squirrelish still. He fires at you, you fire at him. See if he feels jumpy still. And if it escalates, it escalates. That's what it's about. But it's a PR campaign. Now more than ever, you've got somebody there filming that shit. So there's no fucking Han versus Greedo bullshit that the company can try and pull. You got a running record. You see the gun thug shoot first. You see the response. No questions. The tape don't lie. And let them do it. Let them escalate it. And then you answer the escalation. Disarm the gun thugs and rough them up? Nope. Nope. I will tell you the most fucking aggressive thing that I would support doing on the strike line is fucking up a scab's car. So if your strike line is broke by gun thugs or the cops and scabs are streaming in past your strike line and you're on that fucking strike line, chuck rocks. Kick their fucking car as they go by. Leave a nice fucking dent for their troubles. Make sure that their fucking day's wage that they make goes to fixing the dent in their car. Fuck them. They want to come arrest you for fucking civil disobedience or whatever the fuck. Let them put you in jail. Union bail you out. You be back on the strike line the next day and kick another fucking dent in somebody's car. Fuck them. Have you been to jail to justice? I want to shake your hand. Have you been to jail for justice? I want to shake your hand. But when it comes to like shooting first or sending a big army of guys with bats to start beating up people, no. That's what they do. They come and they got their bats and they're menacing you, and somebody takes a swing at somebody, then the fucking bats come out. What are you gonna do, dude? Lay down and get your ass beat? Okay. Even if they beat you in the fight, you win. If they escalate it, they broke the law, not you. They escalate it, they're the fascist, not you. You were non-violently protesting. And they showed up to break your strike with guns. Dude, there's a point in that Harlan County thing where, and it just shows you how organizers have to think. One of the higher ups in the union is saying, you know what, dude, because somebody gets shot in the head on a strike line, gets his brains blown out, kill a man on the strike line. One of the gun thugs does, right? And after that happens, one of the organizers is saying, you know what, after this, anybody that's preaching this nonviolent response to this shit and only nonviolent, they're going to be shut up at the fucking union meeting. I don't even want to hear it. It's time for us to carry guns. Time to escalate. And then there's people in the union that are trying to fucking keep the powder dry, and they're saying, look, they've done so much damage by killing this man. And that is exactly what happens. When that dude dies, the threat of violence and escalating violence from the union in response to that is what finally brings the company to the table with the UCMW fucking negotiator to get a contract for these men. So it's just like, it's a very tenuous situation, but violence is on the table. My gun position is something that we've talked about here. And you know, it's not the stereotypical kind of ban all guns, ultra lib position. I'm not going to go so far as to say that I think that libs need to adopt gun culture or leftists need to adopt gun culture, but I do think it would be smart for leftists to start looking into their options and to stop fearing these weapons and realize that they can be used responsibly. And you know, I'm not going to be a big old evangelist for guns or anything, but I think that the days of like, let's ban all the guns and kumbaya, my lord, that shit's over. You know, I mean, we live within a system that allows guns. There's leftist gun culture, but it's very LARPy, and I'm not a fan of gun culture. I'm a fan of responsible gun ownership, though. 100%. Well, guns are tools in the way that cars are tools. Cars require licensure because you're taking something out onto the road and you could hurt somebody if you don't drive right. So you have to license yourself to show that you at very least have gone through the training, that you know how to drive right. Same thing for guns. A national government level organization that registers gun owners, registers the weapons that they own, and registers their competency, and have it be an ongoing competency test. You don't got to test every year or something, but if you've got a weapon, you got to test on that weapon and re-up your license every 2 or 3 years to make sure that you're keeping your weapon in working order, to make sure that you still understand how the weapon should be kept and fired safely, and all of the shit that you need to know to be a responsible gun owner that isn't going to blow their own foot off or hand their gun drunk to some kid and let them blow their head off accidentally. It's fucking ridiculous, right? That's it. Yeah. And that's it, dude. You are licensed for your specific weapon or weapons, right? And your gun license includes the licensure for all of your registered weapons. So when you go in to re-up your license, you have to bring all your weapons in and show that you know how to clean them and disassemble them, hold them and store them properly, fucking all that shit. And that's just it. Dude, did somebody just drop a Jew in the comment? Jew. Who the fuck are you, bro? I don't like the idea of being administered too frequently. It could be used as a way of making gun ownership too cumbersome. I think, yeah, I'm not saying you got to fucking re-up every year. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got your big first thing. It was a correction. Sorry. I didn't see what you were correcting. Yeah, that's fine. We're good. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's true. that is true, Otello. What the fuck, bro? What's going on? You guys have gone insane. I've fired you up too much this morning. No, I don't know, man. I've just been feeling that way. And you know what makes me feel that? And this is probably against my own best interest, but when the Biden administration, the Biden DOJ passed those new rules for what constitutes a domestic terrorist and included anti-capitalists, anarchists, people who demonstrate against the government, etc. Dude, I felt the barrel of the gun pointed right at my fucking face, bro. And I'm not the type of person that shrinks from that. I've had a real gun in my face. I survived that shit, okay? So this fucking like it's an impulse in me that may lead me to get into fucking trouble or whatever the fuck, but I don't give a fuck, dude. I live in America. You're not gonna tell me what I can and can't fucking say in America. Sorry. You can eat a dick if you think I'm gonna be cowed by this fucking policy saying that because I have anarchistic ideas or because I have anti-capitalist ideas, both true, by the way. because I'm an advocate for workers and an advocate for completely upending and changing the American system, that I'm going to be silent about that shit. Mm-mm. Not going to happen. No, I am a strong exerciser of my First Amendment right to freedom of expression, freedom of association, and freedom of fucking religion. Strong exerciser of that shit, motherfucker. You better scratch that shit out of the goddamn Constitution. You want to shut me up? No, dude. No. But the fact that we're living in a fucking world where political dissidents are being directly targeted by the government for fucking investigation and harassment and possible fucking arrest is just absurd. It's just another example of how we're going to have to take it. That's why I'm such an advocate for labor, because that's the space in which you take it. You take your concessions. You take your contracts. Take. Take it. Biden calls black nationalists and black liberation terrorists. Yeah, I know. And anarchists and anti-capitalists. All specifically enumerated. Well, arigato gozaimasu if it isn't fucking Karumi. How's it going, buddy? Demonize those who want real change so we can keep being corrupt. Yeah. It won't. I know this. Hopefully Biden teaches shit libs and centrists something. It won't. What it'll teach them is like, oh, let's vote for the Republican, or let's not vote this time and let the Republican win. It's just the fucking cycle continues, bro. I don't know how many times I can put this on. Oh, dude, I have like, you could talk to TJ about this shit. I have a social radar that is like hypersensitive. I'm hyper vigilant in public. It's part of my mental illness, honestly. And sometimes can express itself in ways that makes it almost impossible for me to enjoy myself in really crowded environments. It's not necessarily social anxiety, but more of being overwhelmed with hypervigilance when I'm in that kind of environment. Oh, I can't watch videos where people make an ass of themselves in public. I cringe so fucking hard. I feel so much secondhand embarrassment when people act like assholes. I feel so bad for the people who are unwillingly brought into this shit. That's why this whole like IRL streaming craze that started, dude, that shit was the fucking top cringe to me. I literally could not watch these people walk around in public and involve people in their fucking bullshit for content. It was so cringy, not only on the part of the people doing it, but on the part of the poor people that have to fucking deal with it. And so I have such crushing hypervigilance about social norms and the violation thereof. It's to a point where it actually doesn't serve me. There's an electoral lesson to learn. Is that more people need to vote in the primary, and the people who don't vote at all should vote third party instead. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that, bro, but yeah. Must not be a fan of Impractical Jokers then. No. I've never seen them, so I wouldn't watch a prank channel or a fucking IRL channel or anything, dude. I can't hang with that shit. It's just too cringy. I feel too fucking bad for the people. Oh, man. What's another thing that's been on my mind lately? Probably something that's not going to interest a lot of people, so I'll just keep that to myself. I've been playing a lot of Guilty Gear Strive. I'll just dip into it real quickly, which is a fighting game, which is a personal interest of mine. I'm not like a hardcore participator member in the fighting game community, but I watch a lot of tournaments. I watch a lot of games, and I've been really getting into Guilty Gear Strive as a game recently. I'm having trouble picking a character. Like that's the big thing about Guilty Gear is you have to fucking try out all the characters and pick one because they all play so insanely different. Blasphemous. I have that game. I started playing it and I was actually really liking it, but I lost focus on games and shit. That's why I like fighting games, because I can sit down and do like an hour or two of deliberate practice and I actually get better at the game slightly. And if I do that, once a week or twice a week, by the end of, 6 months or something, I can pretty much rock a character. A Guilty Gear, dude, that new Guilty Gear game is so pretty to look at too. I'm usually not a fan, as you guys know, of like a hyper anime aesthetic or whatever, but just, I really don't, I think it's downplayed pretty well in Guilty Gear. There's some pretty, hyper anime type characters in it, but there are also just some really interesting, like how do I explain it? In Street Fighter, there are character archetypes, right? So there are characters that are charge characters like Guile. Guile, you have to charge back, forward, hit a punch button to throw a sonic boom, charge down, up, hit a kick button to do his, moonsault. So that's one archetype. Another archetype is the Shoto, which is basically Ken and Ryu, right? So a Shoto is a character that throws fireballs, has anti-air in the form of a dragon punch type of move. And there's grapplers, right? Well, that type of archetype kind of exists in the Guilty Gear universe, but every character plays insanely different from every other character. That's kind of the draw of Guilty Gear, is that everybody on the roster is an insane powerhouse that plays completely differently. So it's very important to pick one character and really learn the ins and outs of that character. And that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. And that's on my mind too. That's what's on my mind. Labor and kicking ass in Guilty Gear. Yeah, I'm not a big Tekken person. I liked Tekken as a button mash game in the arcade. Faust is still a character, yeah. He's a character that I'm considering playing, although I've tried him out and I don't like him as much as I thought I would. The characters that I'm really liking right now, that I'm gravitating towards, one of them is supposedly like the worst character in the fucking game. But I feel like I really like the style of Angie, or Anji Ito, the guy that fights with fans. And then there's a dude called Leo, and he feels really good too. But I don't know what I'm going to play. I'm still trying things out. Once I decide, though, challenge me in Guilty Gear. Well, I just started, bro. Oh yeah, me too. I like watching high level fighting game shit, like matches. Kai is your main. You picked the fucking most normal Street Fighter character, dude. You picked the Shoto. Like, Kai is literally the most Street Fighter character in the game. He's basically Ryu. Kai players make me sick. No, Kai's actually pretty good. I think people, I don't know, whatever. I won't get too deep in it, but Buki mains. You play people, do you trash talk your opponents? Fuck yeah. That's part of the getting into people's heads. Dude, I remember, okay, so I'll tell you a little story. This is kind of funny. Back in the day, when the DP, or no, the DFF Discord was still a thing, right? There was like a little crew of people in there who were fighting game people. And they were always shit talking each other about Street Fighter 5. Oh, I whooped your ass. Oh, I whooped your ass. And keep in mind now, I really hadn't even played Street Fighter 5 all that much yet. And so I was tantalized into this conversation. And it made me miss the days of playing Street Fighter and shit talking. And so I was like, you know what, dude? I'll beat both of your asses at fucking Street Fighter 5. I'll whoop both of your monkey asses at the game, dude. And so both of them were like, oh, whatever. But so I just bought it on PC. I already owned it on my PS4, but I bought it on PC. And I was like, all right, just give me a day. Give me a day to, you know, brush the dust off, and then we'll hook it up, and I'll beat both your fucking asses. Well, I picked the game up or whatever, and I picked the character. The one that I ended up liking the most was Ed. So I learned, you know, basic combos and basic shit with Ed. And I went and played these dudes. And one of them beat the fuck out of me. But the other one could not beat me. And so, you know, I got salty at that guy, but whatever. It was good. It was good games and shit. But this other dude that I was playing would not let it go. And got saltier and saltier. And so I was like, oh man, dude, this dude is going to lose. Like, I could literally probably do 20 sets in a row and this guy not win. And that's basically what happened. Like, he just got saltier and saltier, and I kept shit talking. And I was like, dude, do you want me a handicap? Do you want me to random select or something? Because I can do that, dude. I don't have to give you my main. You know what I mean? I don't have to give you the Ed every time. Like, if you want to get a win or two, I could do a random select, and you might scalp a win or something. And he was like, fuck you, man. No, pick Ed. I want your Ed, dude. Fuck that, dude. Your Ed is fucking cheap as fuck. All right, bro. All right, I'll give you the Ed. I mean, I thought you got enough of that Ed pipe earlier, but I'm willing to lay some more Ed pipe. You know what I mean? Man, I'm gonna fuck you up. Watch, dude. I got you down, dude. Download complete. Download complete, dude. All right. I'll stick it in your ass again. I'll beat him. It's like, man, I told you. Man, you fucking just like that character's so cheap. Well, why don't you pick him then? Why don't you beat me with Ed? Fuck it, I will. Picks Ed and I whip his ass. God damn. Sounds like low tier god. Yeah, nobody's that level, bro. Did you make a friend scream and rage quit at Madden? Nah, dude, it was FIFA. It's like FIFA 2006 or 2005 or something on the Xbox. And I had this friend that was all into FIFA. He was all into soccer and shit. He's my next door neighbor. Also one of the dudes I used to roadie with. Their band Spread Needle. I roadied for his band, traveled with him a couple of times, and anyway, he brought it over to my house and was just shit talking because he was so good at it. And I'd never played a FIFA game, but I was in the zone, bro. This was at a point in my life where Like, I'll admit it. There's no shame in my game. This was at a point in my life where I was kind of like abusing opiates. I was popping some pillies, you know what I mean? It's my 20s. What do you want me to do? I was popping some pillies, and so I was pretty fucking loosey goosey, right? And I had that. If you're a video game player, you know the power of not giving a fuck. It expresses itself really easily. So a lot of times, what happens in video games is people get too tense, right? And then they lose because they're overcorrecting and shit. But if you're loosey goosey playing a video game, it can be a real fucking like boost, right? And that's how I try to play games. You know, I try and play games with that mentality because it helps. But sitting there kind of like dosed on opiates, that's like a performance enhancing drug. You know, so dude pops in FIFA and I just murder him. Like the first game, it's the first time I've ever played a FIFA game. And it took me a second to like get the controls down, but it was so simple. You know what I mean? I got the controls down and I just whipped his ass. It was like 2-0 first game. And the whole time I'm doing my thing. And because I'm on opiates, I'm probably being a little even more harsh than I normally would. Making fun of his height. He was not short guy, but like a shorter guy. Making fun of his gameplay skills, making fun of his favorite soccer team, etc. And at some point, he just fucking like spiked his controller, walked over to me in my chair where I was like kicked back, put his finger in my face, and he was like, dude, if you were over at my house, if this wasn't your pad, I'd beat your fucking ass, boy. I was like, went over to the Xbox and ejected the game and went home. I was like, sorry, man. I had another dude back in high school who we trolled real hard with NHL Hits, which was like NHL Hits was like NFL Blitz. It was like an arcade style hockey game. Oh man. He used to get real invested in that shit, you know. I've actually seen someone pop an Oxy 80 and play basketball for 2 hours. Oh yeah. No, I mean like well, I mean I wasn't a super long-term opiate abuser. Thankfully, I got out of it. Before it got real fucking well. Any opiate abuse is dangerous. Let me put it that way. But I was able to escape the clutches of opiates with less damage than a lot of people have. So I feel lucky about that. But it's a struggle for me. Like I don't take that type of shit anymore. I can't. I just like it too much. You know. So I eschew those types of drugs now unless I'm in fucking mortal pain. And even then, under the supervision of a doctor. Oh, dude, this back. Crickety crack, snippety snap. Flippity flap and yickety yak, dude. Ow. Starting to warm up. And dude, it's like a breezeless day out here today too. Barely, just like a very light little breeze that's high up. Oh man, dude, today is gonna be a fucking nightmare. Hope you don't catch on fire. Thanks. Thanks. Thanks, bro. I hope I don't too. I just feel bad for poor little Dinoaur. I want to make him comfortable. So we figured out last night, like I said earlier, that playing loud war movies on the TV helps him like think it's coming from the TV and it chills him out. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. I don't know that I'll watch all of them, but I'll just queue up some loud war movies. There's a lot. There's quite a few of them out there. Yeah. It worked last night for him. Is there any other place you can move to that is not a tender box? I can, dude. The United States is my oyster, bro. I'm a a married dude with no kids, and I make a decent living, so I could live pretty much any state I want. So yeah, I just I don't know about many states, and so I don't know really how to find what's good and what's bad, and how to vet places. It's one of the reasons I came here to California is because it's a known quantity for me. Oh man, that feels good. These stretches, dude, are so fucking like life saving for me. They help me so fucking much. I do those when I'm sitting. I have a standing stretches that I do, like a kind of standing routine of stretches that I do. Oh man, I'm dizzy from that shit. Felt good. I fucking love stretching, dude. It's something that I spent my whole life kind of like not doing. And for the last 6 months or so, I've been stretching routinely every day. And it feels so fucking good, dude. So I have some standing stretches I do, sitting stretches that I do, and then I have some yoga poses that I do, some real low impact shit. Would you try and live in Minnesota or a place with a cooler climate? Sure, why not? One of the places I've had my eyes on for a long time, and I've actually got like a family member that lives up that way, is Maine. I believe Maine has legal recreational marijuana now, so yippee skippy doo dang lippy, you know what I mean? Maine sounds good for me. Too much Stephen King. I don't know. I just love North. My family member that lives up there sends me pictures all the time, and it looks beautiful there. And he's always trying to get me to come visit him. And I think it would be fun to not only come visit him, but just move in next door to him or some shit, dude. Have him help me find me a house over there. Let's do it. Find me a plot of land to buy over there, bro, and let me do it. All I need is internet and seclusion. Just let me live in seclusion. All right, I'm done. I'll see you guys later. Bye.